If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Altar Call MAFS. I'm your host, Tane, with a new episode today. And today's episode is a MAFS Chat episode. And my guest is someone we just watched on the most recent season 19 on Peacock. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She's a hopeless romantic. She loves her wrestling. Her nails don't stop her from being a fitness queen. And a pickleball hates to see her coming. It's Brittany, everybody. Hi, Brittany. How are you?
I'm good. That was so good. Hi.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you here. You have put me through the ringer this season.
Oh, Lord. You and a lot of other people, apparently.
So I can't imagine how it was for you. But I ask everyone this at the very top of the episode. How are you? How are you doing? And what's going on in your life today?
Yeah, great question. So I'm great. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm great. I've been great, honestly, since filming. Obviously with everything just coming out now, life is a little bit more chaotic and a little bit busier, but all good things.
That's good. And I think I was going to ask that. You touched on that a little bit. Is like, how has your life changed since the show came out? I know it just ended, but how has it changed since everything just came out and everyone got to know your name and all the things?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just been a whirlwind. I was just chatting with Megan and Jalen. We're like, holy crap, we're feeling a little overstimulated right now, but it's all good things, right? I mean, people get to see my story and people get to actually see how I love and like how romance is just so important to me. And so, I don't know, it's been weird watching it back, but it's like, we knew this was going to happen. So I was just trying to prepare myself as much as possible for that. But I don't know. It's just life has been good. Obviously still doing the things that I've been doing, still living my life. But now there are just more people that have followed my journey and hopefully they're going to continue to follow my journey and whatever else I do next.
Yes. And just to get it out the way, what is your relationship status?
I am single. I am very, very much single. Yes, girl. I am single. I keep telling myself, it's like, I can't afford to get it wrong again. I don't want to go through any of that again. But I am single. I'm open, obviously. Like, I'm still a hopeless romantic, still want to find my person or actually have my person find me. But I am just very, very particular.
That's good. People always say something like, some people are picky, you shouldn't be picky. And I'm like, for a life partner, you should be picky and particular about who you're going to pick. So that's okay in my book, To tweak my question, I know I said, how has life changed since you did the show? Just a little tweak to the question. How would you say you're different? Like the Brittany that did the show then and the Brittany that I'm talking to right now. What is the biggest difference, or what are some difference that you want to share with us?
Oh, it's such a great question because I'm going to add some context here. I love the Brittany that you guys see on the show because she is me. She is, she was who I was at a time in my life where I guess that's who I needed to be, or that's just who I was. So I absolutely love her. The Brittany you guys don't know, or maybe we'll get to know today, is she's a much more, and I think I said this on the reunion, she's a much more calm
Mhm.
Brittany. Very, very self-aware, very, very much sure of herself,
Okay.
knows that she is deserving of love, knows that she is perfectly imperfect,
Mhm.
and is willing to do the work on, some of those things that you guys
Mhm.
have, my reactions that you guys
Yeah.
have seen on the show.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because what you see on the show is that I thought I was it. I was like, I thought I'm like, I got everything. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah.
like, I felt like I did the work.
Yeah.
I don't know how I felt I did the work when I didn't really go to therapy before. Now I'm like, therapy is we're locked in. We're best
Yeah.
friends.
Mhm.
So I've done a lot of therapy post filming of the
Okay.
show.
Mhm.
And it's really just to unlock things about myself that maybe I wasn't necessarily aware of.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, all the work that I've done since then, it's who you see today. But like I mentioned earlier, I loved that Brittany. I
Yeah.
loved all versions of Brittany because the person I am today is really just a byproduct of everything that you
Mhm.
guys got to see.
Yeah, I love that for you. And it's funny you say that because Dr. Pepper always says, even if the marriages don't work, as long as you learn something about yourself and then
Oh
you
my
come
God,
out to be a better person. And I can't imagine watching yourself on TV. I say this all the time. I know we talk about the show and you guys, but I give y'all kudos. Could never be me, be on
yeah.
TV for everybody to see and criticize, knowing that sometimes we don't have the full story. We don't have the full context. So, good for you. So let's go to the very, very back. What made you do this show?
Yeah. So I was a fan of Married at First Sight.
Okay.
I'd watched it, gosh, I think the first season I watched was, and I don't remember like what, I think they were in, I don't remember where they were, but it was
Okay.
like the season with Iris and
Okay.
Keith.
Charlotte.
Charlotte,
I
that's it.
just
Yeah.
covered that show this
Oh,
summer.
really?
Yeah, I recovered it again. But yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I just like I don't know how this happened. I like came across the show and I just started watching. I'm like, oh my God, it's just interesting. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's pretty good. And so so with that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously a fan of the show. I was like, this is a really cool concept.
Mhm.
I am a hopeless romantic. I love love. You'll
Mhm.
hear me say that all the time. Like, I love love. When people are
Yeah.
in love and like they're happy, I love that. I root for
Yeah.
all of my friends because like all of my friends are either like married or in a relationship. Um,
Mhm.
I love it. Like it just makes me happy.
Mhm.
I just know like one day it's gonna happen, right? And so I'm a hopeless romantic, and I am also a woman of faith.
Yeah.
And so like my Christianity, believing in God, like that's extremely important to me. And I
Mhm.
just felt like it was a culmination of just kind of all of those things. Like I was
Yeah.
praying, like, okay, Lord, like what's going on? Like help me meet my person, right?
Mhm.
Found out that MAFS was coming to Austin, or like the next season was going to be based in Austin. My
Mhm.
best friend actually told me, and I said, I'm going to apply for this because what are the odds that that I get selected and I get matched? And
Yeah.
what if it works out?
Mhm.
I'm the person, like I'm more of the mindset of glass like half full,
Yeah.
because my thought process the entire time was, what if it works out?
Yeah.
Right. And not thinking about, well, statistically speaking, right?
Mhm.
You got a more of a chance of one not even being selected. And then if you are selected, you have more of a chance of like the relationship not working out. Right. That was not my mindset at all. My
Mhm.
mindset was like, okay, if this actually happens, I'm supposed to be here.
Mhm.
I'm going to be committed because marriage is extremely important to me, being a woman
Mhm.
of faith. And
Yeah.
so of course, if I'm matched, the person that they match me with is going to have that same level of commitment.
Yes. Okay, so you've answered half of my question, and I think I got something wrong. So, watching you on the show, I was like relating to you, and I was like, I'm catastrophic. I'm not glass half full. I'm like, oh my God, what if, what if? And I thought that's what you were. And I was going to ask, like, given what you said about your past relationships, like, the 3 month dating rule, that did you think, like, oh, this is probably, gonna work, and, I'm willing to take that risk? But you answered that question. You were glass half full and you were ready and you were hoping that it was going to work, which is, I think, the best way, to come through this. Like, you have to be truly optimistic. But I don't think they shared with us, but how recent was your last relationship before you got on the show?
Yeah, so we filmed February 2024. When was my last relationship? I want to say the beginning of 2022. Of course,
Okay.
I dated in between then, but like the last guy I called my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Um, no, I'm lying. It was not beginning of 2022. It was beginning of 2023 because we
Okay.
met in 2022. There we go.
Okay.
Beginning of
Okay.
2023 is when it ended.
Okay. Okay. And then how hard was it since you guys filmed in February 2024 and you had to be in waiting, for lack of a better word, until it came out? And like, did they tell you guys, hey, it's not going to be Lifetime, it's going to be Peacock? What was that journey being in
No.
the waiting room? Oh,
Yeah. So
like,
it was interesting, right? And I always describe it as like when you're doing Married at First Sight, it's like they're plucking you out of your life, your normal life, and then they're
mm-hmm.
putting you into this alternate reality.
Yeah.
It's still reality, but everything in Married at First Sight like happens in hyperspeed.
Yeah.
If you're dating someone in the real world, it's going to take you a while to like get to know that person, even get to the point where you're like, I want to be with this person. We don't have the luxury of time
Yeah.
in the
In
Married
the
at First
process.
Sight universe. And so I always describe it as like, okay, they plucked us out of our reality, plucked us into this crazy alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then once filming stops, they just take us from this universe and they put us back in our reality. And it's like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a whirlwind, right? Because I
Yeah.
went from this like crazy world where I thought I had experienced everything that I ever wanted to experience. And then
Yeah.
it just abruptly ended, as you all saw. And then now I have to go back to my reality. And now I have to go back to my reality. And it's like, okay, well, I'll let you know when the show comes out.
Yeah.
What? So in the meantime, what do I do?
Oh man. So you didn't know, when did you find out it was going to be on Peacock with the rest of us?
With the rest of you guys, so the ladies and I are in a group chat
Okay.
because we're all super close, as you guys saw in the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just woke up one day and I was on Instagram and I saw an article,
Mm-hmm.
MAFS moves to Peacock, and
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? So of course I screenshotted it and I shared it with the ladies and we're all like, what does this mean? Like we're all freaking
Yeah.
out. We're like, wait, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? And then we're all of course trying to analyze it. Like that's the way my brain was thinking. I was like, I'm trying to analyze it, but they did not reach out to us to let us know like, hey, there's a big change,
Yeah.
from Lifetime to Peacock, which is probably why your season is delayed
Mm-hmm.
in coming out. So it was,
Mm-hmm.
found out with the rest of the world.
Wow. So, as someone who's watched the show before, what was the biggest thing or the biggest surprise for you that you were not ready for, or even in hindsight, you could never have prepared yourself for being on the show? Like, is there anything you saw on TV? You're like, I can do this. And then in reality, you're just like, oh my God, this is, I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I think it was the actual like relationship itself. I mean, obviously during like the filming, the schedule was pretty rigorous.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of having cameras in your face while you're
Hmm.
trying to have a serious conversation or like while you're crying your eyes out, like that's pretty weird. Um, but from watching it, I always thought like I could do this, right? Because if it works and it works, then it's good.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, like whatever. But of course, like that's never been my mindset.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I would definitely have to say, well, obviously, like the relationship itself, and then
That's a
also,
fair answer.
just the schedule was rigorous.
Hmm.
Not anything like it, not impossible. It was probably impossible for other people, but I have a flexible job to where,
Yeah.
I mean, I work from home, so I'm
Okay.
like, I can I can do what I need to do. If I need to go get ready to film later tonight, I
Yeah.
can, take some time away from my computer and go get ready and do what I
Hmm.
need to do.
Yeah, but in some sense, it's like it wasn't your life wasn't like another person. Somebody else was scheduling your life at that time. If you had to at the drop of a hat, would you say that like
I
it
would,
wasn't?
yeah, I would say so. The thing that, and what worked really well for Will and I is like, obviously the production team, like they have a schedule, they have things that they absolutely
Mm-hmm.
need to do, and they'll try to control you with that schedule. The
Okay.
great thing about Will and I is like, we were just like, okay, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna do it our
All right.
way. Like,
Okay.
I understand that you guys have this plan for us, but at least let us know ahead of time so we can kind of prepare for
Yeah.
whatever date or whatever like events or whatever you guys have planned for us. Or even when it was time to talk about certain things, like Will and I were very good about, we're not gonna talk about that. We're just actually gonna, like, you guys
Okay.
just film us and we're gonna have open and honest conversations. And whatever
Okay.
you guys get is whatever you guys get. So I always say that, like, production, obviously they have a job to do, but you as the
Talent.
the people that
Mm-hmm.
they're filming, you can control, almost kind of control your own destiny. Like you can control the conversations that you and your partner are having.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So something you said was you wanted the opposite of the marriage that your parents had respectfully. When
Respect.
your parents saw that, what was their reaction? Was there a conversation about it, or did it just pass by and nothing was said?
Oh no, my mom was like, yeah, that's true. Like, my mom's always wanted me to have the opposite of what her and my dad
Yeah.
have. They're legally married,
Yeah.
but again, like, I've never seen them be affectionate towards one another. Growing up, it was, they, I don't want to say they hated each other. They definitely
Yeah.
don't hate each other, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
conflict.
Yeah.
And so I always just wanted the opposite of that. Like, and I don't know if it's because I watch soap operas or because I watch a lot of TV, but like, I want the love that's like super romantic and like
Yeah.
you're just all in. And I of course didn't see that growing up, but like, I know it's out there. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just always wanted that and not what my parents have
You know,
had.
I appreciated your honesty, for that, because that is a lot of people's reality where that's what they grew up in. And it wasn't like you were trying to sugarcoat it and you weren't also trying to be disrespectful to them. It just was your reality. So, I really appreciate that. Actually, I appreciated your authenticity through the whole thing. Whether you were laughing, whether you were crying, whether you were cursing, it was just you. And I appreciated that about you.
Thank you.
Okay, so how much did the pressure that you mentioned that you felt like you had to represent for your family? You said there were a lot of single women in your family and you wanted to, stay married. How much did that play into I know you came in committed and you came in positive, but was it like an added extra layer of pressure for you, or it was just not something in your mind at all?
Yeah, no, definitely not. Like, that statement didn't add to the pressure of wanting to make this relationship or like this marriage work.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a motivator? I mean, it's just, I see what's in my reality, right? Like, I see what's in my world, and then I just
Yeah.
want different.
Yeah.
Not better, not worse. I just want different.
Mm-hmm.
And so what really motivated me for this relationship is the fact that I'm super committed. I've obviously been selected for a reason. And so I'm expecting the person that I'm matched with to have that same level of commitment. And we just have to figure everything else out, right? We have to figure one another out.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, I'll start with commitment and then we kind of just take it from there.
Yeah.
So that was like my biggest motivator, my biggest main factor is like, if I'm doing this, like, I'm going to do it
Yeah.
because I'm not going to go into this and for whatever reason, if it doesn't work out, I don't want there to be any regrets.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about Mr. Will. You're walking down the aisle, you're nervous, you don't know what's at the end of the aisle. You see Will, and your first thought is what?
So yeah, I got nervous right when they were like, okay, it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because before that, I was actually pretty calm. I was like, I'm ready for this. Like, it's my wedding day. I'm getting married. This is what I want. And so they start the music, and I'm walking down the stairs with my dad, and I just peek over the stairs, and like I saw him. And the first thing I always tell him this, I'm like, the first thing I saw was his lips, and I said, okay. I was like, okay, we're good. We are good to go. And then obviously, as I walk down the stairs and I walk to the aisle and get closer and I see him.
Yeah.
He's a very handsome guy, and so I was
Mm-hmm.
immediately attracted to him, and I just thought,
Okay.
like, okay, Y'all,
Okay.
y'all did good.
Okay. Okay, that's good because I'm always like start them off right and make sure they're attracted to each other. So it was a good thing to see. So
After the holidays, there's so much to clean up and get ready for the coming year. This leaves me exhausted and a lot of things falling off my to-do list. It's time to lock in, and Omaha Steaks delivers everything you crave to reset after the holidays. An order from them means having high-quality Omaha steaks on hand at all times. I'm a big meat lover myself, and I always go with medium rare. But there's also plenty of poultry and other options available. Omaha Steaks offers unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. A family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. Let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their end-of-season sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code YUM at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com, promo code YUM. Terms apply. See site for details. Go to www.omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide during their end-of-season sale. And use promo code YUM at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply. Thanks to Omaha Steaks for sponsoring us.
something that we day one fans noticed for this season is a lot of stuff was cut out.
Oh, yeah.
So did you guys film I just want to confirm that you guys filmed all of the things that they usually show, like the friends and families, usually they say, Will would like you to know. Did you learn anything from that? Was there anything that would have given you a hint as to, I mean, nothing would have, but as to what you were about to walk into about Will in the vows, or what is it? The friends and family description.
Yeah, that's good. I wish I could say yes. However, that was over a year and a half ago, and I don't remember what they said.
Okay.
I just remember it resonating with me. Like, I remember I was like, I think I looked at him at some point and I said, okay.
Yeah.
We instant, like, whether, I've seen, well, I haven't seen it all. So I try not to read the comments, but I see some comments that come through. And people are like, he wasn't initially attracted to her. Like, there's no chemistry. We had a lot of instant chemistry.
There was
and of course, you don't see that because, like, they focus on our drama. But, like, I think we had talked about when they did the Brittany's family and friends would like you to know, and they talked about wrestling. We connected on wrestling because he said, "Oh, like WWE," and he used to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
He also had connected. Oh, what they don't show, which is hilarious. I had a safe word.
Oh.
And so we were talking about it in the bridal suite. And I'm like, if I say pineapple, like that means like, this is not it. Like, I don't like this man. Like, someone find a way to get me out of here. And so we're standing, fast forward, like to the altar. Will and I are standing there. And then they say something like, Will's family and friends would like you to know something about pizza.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, I like pizza. And then he says like, he's like, you don't like pineapples on your pizza, right? And I say, yeah, no, I don't like pineapples. And I said pineapple. and so I remember my best friend, Mariah, Mariah and Ebony were there. And then she, during the reception, she was like, okay, so you said pineapple, but like, I didn't know if I needed to rush the altar and like run you out of there. And I was like, no. I was just speaking in the context of like what he was saying. So it was a really funny moment.
That's funny.
I told him afterwards and we just laughed.
Oh, that's funny. So something I really, really wanted, and also I thought you guys had chemistry. I didn't think I was in the minority. I thought it was obvious. Like I said from the beginning that the one thing you guys had was chemistry.
Okay.
So
well, some people say it, some people don't. I'm like, we had chemistry. I don't know what y'all are like. I was like, that was one of our best days.
For the people I've chatted with, a lot of them always say like the wedding day was like the best. Like they had the best time on their wedding day. So something I really wanted was to see Will in his element, right? With his friends, his family, and to see how you interacted. Did you guys do the usual housewarming themed party at your apartment where both your friends? Oh, okay.
No, I only met his friend. So we did the, like what you've seen in previous seasons, the day after the wedding, like I'll go meet with some of his family and then he'll go meet. We did do that and we filmed that. So I met with his mom and his best friend, and I got a lot of insight there during that conversation. But we didn't do the like housewarming or anything like that.
Okay. Can you share some of the insight that they shared with you that day?
So his mom specifically told me, she was like, it takes a lot for him to open up. She's like, she basically said, you're gonna have to pull information out of him. And I remember I connected with her and I said, oh, well, that's easy for me because I can talk to anyone. Like, I'm open, like, this is my personality. I'm bubbly. Like, it's no problem. It's like not a
Yeah.
challenge for me, or actually challenge accepted, right? I can pull information out of him. And I think that's kind of what you guys got to see throughout our relationship, is like, she's always pulling and she's always digging for something. Like, well, that's what I was told to do. Did I always do it in the best way? Absolutely not. And then at the end, I think I pivoted because I started to understand him, but whatever. So it was like, you have to pull information out of him. And I think what was also telling for me in that conversation, which they don't show, because what they didn't show is that I'm a very religious person. Now, of course, they show him at the wedding having the conversation with my dad, which when I watched that back, like, I watched it with you all for the first time. I didn't even know that conversation happened. And I'm like watching it like, oh, this is bad. Like, I was like, this is bad. This is really bad. Like, this is crap. But during that conversation with his mom and his best friend, she told me, she said, well, Will was raised in the church, right? He grew up going to all of like the Christian schools. He knows the Bible front and back, but she said, but he's not religious. Like, he doesn't practice the religion. He doesn't,
agnostic, I think
he doesn't go to churches and do any of that anymore. And so that was my first time hearing that. And my number one, I think I said my deal breaker was, for the experts, is if you match me with someone who is not religious, it's not going to work, because I need a man that's going to, lead me and love me like I love the church. And so that was actually a big conversation that we had later that day, where we kind of came back together, and it was like, oh, what did you and my family talk about? What did you and my family talk about? And I was wrestling with that. I said, well, I found out, like, you're not religious. Like, I don't know how, it doesn't matter how cute you are and how like instant our chemistry is, like, that is just not going to work. And he did reassure me. He was like, well, I'm not sure. What's interesting though, is what he told me is, I grew up in church, and I've studied other religions, and I'm not saying like I don't believe in God. I'm just, I believe there are other things out there. Yeah. Or actually, what he's telling my dad is like, he doesn't believe in God. He's agnostic, whatever the case may be. But he reassured me. He's like, I can find that again. I can go to church with you, and like, we can pray together and do all these things. And so that's what calmed me down a little bit. Yeah. Which is not the case, obviously.
You answered two of my questions, because I was going to say, two of my questions was, what did your parents tell you about that conversation? Because it's interesting to me. How does someone tell someone what happened in that conversation? You just have to watch it.
Well, they didn't, because there was no time. Okay. I didn't see my family again until, I didn't really see my family again until I actually went back to Houston. So there was I was not privy to that conversation. I didn't know what the heck happened.
Okay. And my second question was religion an issue for you guys? So even though he said that and said he was willing, to find it again, was that something you guys are going to work on after the cameras, after it stopped filming? Or was that something you started on at all during filming? Or was there a plan for that at all?
We didn't talk about religion again. Like, there was one point where I asked him, I said, because I pray before I go to bed. I'm like, hey, would you pray with me? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. For Easter, we went to a church service, actually, because my best friend and her husband invited us, but also his friend. Okay. And wife invited him, but they invited us first. And so I went with Will and his friends, and we went to the church service, and like, that's one of my fondest memories about our relationship, is the fact that like, we went to church, and my thought process was like, oh, well, maybe it's going to be awkward for him, right? Like, maybe he's just going to sit there and like kind of roll his eyes and like, not really show interest. And he was, he wasn't like getting up, hooping and hollering like I was, but he was sitting there and he was really like into it and engaged. And my thought process was like, okay, like, I can work with this.
Yeah. See, and that brings me to one of my favorite moments of you guys, when you went to see your family. That was crazy. They kissing. I've seen them kissing. That was one of my favorite, because I always say this when I watch you guys, I'm holding my breath. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. I could breathe easy. I thought he was going to be awkward. It seemed to be fine. And you're saying like you never had the opposite, where you were with his family and friends. Was there anything like that cut out, or nothing at all?
No, because his family is in Detroit. Will is from Detroit, so his family's in
Yeah, that's
Michigan.
true. Okay.
And I did have the opportunity though, right? I flew his mom out
Yeah.
to Austin for his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I had also FaceTime with his mom before. I'd FaceTime with his sister before. So when Will has twin sisters, and so one of his twin sisters attended the wedding,
Okay.
but we didn't get a lot of time together. We didn't get any time together. And then I
Mm-hmm.
FaceTimed with his other sister at some point throughout the course of filming.
Okay.
But the opportunity, how actually the opportunity came about for Will to come and meet my family is because Will travels a lot for work,
Mm-hmm.
and it just so happened that he was traveling to Houston for work,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, well, this is a great opportunity. I could just come with you, and like we could say hi to my family. We could just drop by, and Will, in true Will fashion, he was like, well, I've already booked my flight. Like it's a work trip. What are you talking about? And I said, okay, well, we can just like go together. You could still go to work, but like I'll be hanging out with my family, and then afterwards you can like stop by and say
Mm-hmm.
hi. And then he said, well, the flight's already booked. I said, Will, I'll just drive to Houston by myself and I'll meet you there. And he said, okay, in true Will fashion.
You have to be
It was
very
actually
exact and literal.
very exact and like, but he did, I will give him credit, he did cancel his flight back to
Back. Okay.
Austin, and we did leave from Houston together. Like we
Yeah.
drove back to Austin together. But
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, dude, you could travel with your wife. Like
It's not against the law.
it's not
So
against the law. You can leave and like, cancel the flight. You didn't pay for it. Like what are you talking about?
oh, that's fun. I'm a Houston gal myself, by the way. I'm an A
Oh
leaf. I'm an A leaf, my high school.
yeah, hey, H
So
time.
yeah.
I went to
Okay.
school with high school.
okay, so the honeymoon.
The infamous
the
honeymoon.
infamous honeymoon. You get there, are you still feeling good? Or
Oh
have
yeah.
you picked up on, little things? Was he being affectionate? Was he showing you attention? Or things were good before the big fight?
Yes. And so I want to provide more context there because
Okay.
what you guys see or what, most people are thinking is like they get wedding. Gosh, I can't talk. They get married one day and then they're on the honeymoon the next day.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happened. We
Okay.
got married and then we had, the next day we meet the family. And then in between that time, there's like a week in between when we actually left for the honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so in between that time, like we weren't supposed to see each other, but
Oh,
Will, he was like working and I was at home and like we're both
come
like,
on
hey, like
down.
we
Mm-hmm.
really hit it off. Like I miss you. And we're like texting and calling each other and we're like, let's meet up. And so we
Mm-hmm.
met up quite often that week. So I got to see him like more and more and then just have really like one-on-one time with him. We were texting each other nonstop, talking on the phone nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the honeymoon. So it's like at that time, we've already established something,
Yeah.
right? We're feeding off of like the positivity from the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to the honeymoon and he was very affectionate, right? Like Will is actually a very touchy feely guy. And
It sure
so
is.
that was one of the things that I noticed is like he touches me a lot. And I like that. Physical touch is like really important to me. And so we get to the honeymoon and in my mind I'm thinking like, oh, we're totally gonna like consummate the marriage. Like
Yeah.
duh. I didn't want to do it on the wedding night, and so we're gonna do it now. And you guys see me pulling out the little pink lingerie, which I've never worn lingerie before in my life. So that was new. So, obviously did that. We did consummate the marriage. Um, but what led to the fight and what
Okay.
you guys don't see is like, we didn't use protection.
Okay.
And how do I say this so graciously? We didn't use protection. And when he finished inside basically.
Got it.
So those two things, and then I know me, I'm very wishy-washy with like birth control
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm only taking this to regulate my cycles. And like
Yeah.
if I forget a day, I forget a day. I'm fine. So
Mm-hmm.
all of that was playing in my mind.
Okay.
And I did have a freak out moment afterwards of like, oh shit, like what did we do? Like not like
Mm-hmm.
he had to pressure me into it. Like it was
Yeah.
both decisions. But once you like do something and like the realization kind of sets in, I'm like, oh crap, like what did we do? I didn't say it like that. I was just like, I got emotional.
Yeah.
Because it also
Okay.
was the first time I'd had sex with anyone in over a year. So I'm like,
Okay.
all the things are going through my mind. And Will's reaction, which I didn't understand at the time because I didn't know him. And I kind of
Yeah.
took it as like, what husband tells their wife that like they shouldn't have sex anymore? Like,
Yeah.
that's how I took it.
Yeah.
But knowing him now and like knowing how he is, Will's very literal and like
Mhm.
solution oriented. And so his solution was, oh crap, we did something. She doesn't regret that, but like she's feeling something about it. Let's just not do that again. Like
Yeah.
he was trying to solve a problem
Problem.
that he thought was there. I didn't get that then. And he didn't
Okay.
communicate it to me like that. And so we just kept missing each
Missing
other.
each
Like we
other. Yeah.
couldn't understand. And so that fight obviously led to other fights, and it led to us really just like not understanding one another and also being afraid to like speak up about certain things because we didn't want a fight like that to happen again.
Yeah. It could be in the same vein, but I think specifically, one of the things was when he said, let's not do that again. And you said you took that as rejection. And I think that was one of the times I was frustrated because I was like, it's not just sex that could be the thing and you just met. And I have to remember again, you're not privy to his confessionals or whatever it's being called. And he explained himself there where he said, hey, let's just not do it again because she seems to be so upset. So at that time, are you freaking out in terms of like, oh my God, this may not work, this may not work? Or did you see it as it's just a fight? We're gonna work through it, or were you like, oh my God, what have I done?
I was freaking out because I'm like, well, crap. Like, we're here in freaking Panama. There's no plan B here. I'm like, shit, what if I end up pregnant? Knowing my
Mhm.
luck, I probably will. And I'm like, well, what if this doesn't work out? Like, that's the first time I actually had that question in my brain of like, well, what if this doesn't work out? And then he's telling me like we shouldn't do that again. And he's being like kind of standoffish. I'm like, what if I'm like, what if I become a single parent and like my worst fear like comes to like, I'm like, all of that. I'm going
Yeah.
down a rabbit hole for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think Will hates confrontation, right? And so he's not knowing how to handle that. And then of course him not handling or like,
Yeah.
supporting me and saying, I don't regret what happened. Like,
Yeah.
not saying those things,
Things. Yeah.
I took it as like, we just did this thing. This guy is now like, yeah, I'm going to roll over and go to sleep and I'm just going to let you kind of freak out. But like, yeah, we
Yeah.
shouldn't do that again. I'm like, that just wasn't a good feeling for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand that. I mean, me again as a viewer, armchairing, I was wondering if, your past relationships where you were saying the 3 month where people were like, I don't want to do this anymore. Was that playing into that when you were saying like the rejections and all that and it just all hit at once? And then you got someone who's just wasn't good at comforting you at the time that
Exactly.
you needed. So I guess my question is, do you see why you were matched? Because we don't have insight, right? They don't do the matchmaking special anymore. And I had an episode where I call it the very ready brides. We have a lot of the times brides who are like, I'm coming in, I'm doing my all, and we have the men who are like, it's nice if we connect, but it's not matching energy. And so, because I don't know why Will was picked or why, even to some extent, we know that because you're committed. But for the women, it's easier because we know the women are coming in commit. But what did you guys have in common? Or if someone were to ask you, why do you think you were matched? Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, I wrestled with that because for the longest time during our relationship, I couldn't understand. And it's like I feel like I have perspective now. I
Yeah.
think we were matched because, um, and it goes back to what his mom said. He needs someone that's going to pull things out of him and not be afraid to do so.
Yeah.
And it's just in like conversations that I've had with like his mom, his best friend, and Will before. Um, Will told me he needs someone that challenges him.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to challenge him at all. Like, did I always do it in the best way, which is like the learning for me. And what I learned is like, no, I didn't handle myself the best way at all times. But like,
Yeah.
if he needed someone that was just going to be there to challenge him in the way that like maybe challenge his perspective and his way of thinking, because Will can be rigid sometimes, and very much stuck in his ways and sees it how he sees it.
Yeah.
He, if he needed someone to maybe show him a different perspective, but do it in a way where it's like coming from a place of love, I think
Yeah.
that's why we were matched. And we just, maybe we didn't get there, or like maybe I was trying to get there, but of course, like I didn't always approach it in the best way. But and then vice versa, right? Like I am a very hyper person. I am, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and Will is a
Mm-hmm.
very rational guy. And so
Mm-hmm.
I needed someone like him to kind of balance me out. We just
Mm-hmm.
didn't, I won't say we didn't get there. We got there at the end, but by that time it was too late. So,
Yeah. Fundamentally, I was like, I don't think they're compatible. I just, they're not giving each other what they need. And I was like, I want them to work so bad. I don't know how much element of that was the black love, but I also don't want struggle love. I'm all like, oh, I'm Team Brittany. I don't know you for the life of me, but I'm like, by the end of the day, I don't want her to struggle, because if that's what she needs, even if some may say like it's emotional, she doesn't have to fight this hard, because at the end of the day, if he really liked her, just do what she's asking, since everything's okay, with
yeah.
that.
And it's
So,
interesting you say that, because like during the reunion, and what they don't show, but what I told Will, because
yeah,
that was my first time seeing him or speaking to him in well over a year and a half.
yeah,
And I was just like, we could have been the most perfect couple, and we could have understood each other in the beginning, and like
hmm,
everything that happened at the honeymoon, if it didn't happen, we would have been hunky dory, and we
yeah,
probably would have made it for a while. But I said at the end of the day, we would have ended up right back where we are today, because
yeah,
we're just simply not compatible.
yeah,
Like fundamentally to our core, who we are as people
yeah,
doesn't match. We're not aligned.
yes,
Sure, we're both intelligent and like, we whatever, but and there's like five other intelligent people that are outside. Doesn't mean I'm compatible with them. And that's something that I actually like. It took me a while to get there, because
together,
obviously
yeah,
the breakup was hard. But once I understood that, I was like, oh, this makes sense. No matter what happened, we would have ended up like not together, because we're just two fundamentally like different people.
yeah. So, a question that I had throughout the season. So, I'm going to mention the boat. When you were on the boat and you're asking about love is a feeling, love is action. I was like, in slow mo, you're like, Brittany,
Yeah,
no,
no,
don't do
I know.
that. That was the whole thing. So, my whole question has been actually, there are two questions. The first was, is this how you are in relationships, or do you think this was just a result of not feeling safe or comfortable with Will?
You know what's funny? And like no one, you guys can believe me or not believe me, whatever the case may be. The people who know me know me.
Yeah.
I am not actually an emotional person.
Oh.
I before Mavs, like before filming, I don't know the last time I cried. Like my family will tell you, Brittany's not an emotional person. She's actually very like matter of fact, and she's very logical. So actually, Will and I have
That's
that in
why you were
common.
matched.
He just takes it to a
Take it to a
different
different
level.
level.
I can empathize with people. Like I have that
Yeah.
ability to connect with people.
Yeah.
And like a bubbly personality and all that things. But I am actually not emotional. I am not
Wow.
sensitive at all. And so I even after like I kept questioning myself, which is why probably a lot of people are like, oh, she is very insecure, she's not confident. I kept questioning myself because I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Mm.
I'm like, what? I'm experiencing things that I hadn't experienced before, like kind of
Mhm.
like emotions and breaking down and like that I've never really experienced before. Like you asked me about my previous relationships. No, none
Yeah.
of my previous relationships were ever like this. The reason that they didn't last like past 3 months is because if something happened, like if one thing went wrong, I'd be like, all right,
Uses.
gotta
Okay.
go. Like this is not gonna work, right? Because I'm not playing games. I'm trying to find
Yeah.
the person. So the whole relationship with Will really just took me for a freaking loop because I was in uncharted territory that I've never had to navigate before.
Mhm.
Um, which honestly made me kind of want to like fight for it more because I'm like, what the hell is going on? I want to like figure this out. There's clearly something here because I've not felt these kind of emotions before. I need to figure this out. Like, I need to understand what's going on. So it's almost like I was fighting two battles. I was fighting, like, obviously, this new relationship with this the stranger that I'm trying to get to know, but
Yeah.
I can't speak his language. He's not speaking my language. So
Mm-hmm.
that's frustration one. And then I'm also navigating, like trying to understand what's happening with me and like why I'm feeling things or why am I expressing myself in ways that I've never expressed myself before. So it was a lot of internal struggle with myself that I was navigating while also trying to like navigate
Figure
Will.
out. Yeah. Another job in itself. And looking back, and again, something I was asking through the course of the season, do you think you actually liked Will, or it was just the idea of the marriage and everything that came with it?
Yeah.
Or what and if you did, what was it that you liked about Will?
No, that's a great question. In the beginning, like obviously we met, I really liked him from a physical standpoint because I didn't
Yeah.
know him.
Hmm.
Um, the honeymoon, no, I didn't like him after the honeymoon. I actually like I, which is also a problem for me. I told him, I said, if we were dating in the real world, like there's no way we'd make it past week one
Hmm.
because no.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I didn't really like him during the honeymoon.
Hmm.
It was just awful. The honeymoon was just like, it was bad.
You look
It was miserable
stressed.
yeah, it was miserable for us both. And like, I understood that. And then even when we got back to, when we got back to Austin and we moved in together, I was like, with, I remember in like the little diary cam, so little selfie video that
Yeah.
they did put on the show, I said, this conversation with Pastor Cal is going to make or break us.
Mm.
Because I'm like, I just can't do this. I didn't tell Will that, but like I said it in the little video, and the conversation with Pastor Cal, like it went well. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to fight. Like I don't quit, blah, blah, blah. I'm committed. So I was like, there's a reason I instantly liked him. I want to know that Will. So, obviously I stayed in it. There was also something that happened, like 3 or 2 weeks into our relationship where he was really drunk one night. He didn't come home. I was sick
Oh.
and he wanted a divorce. So he's like, yeah, I want a divorce. And it's like 1 a.m. I'm like, dude, are you coming home? Like, what is going on? And he
Mm.
was like, if my life is going to be like this, I want a divorce. I don't want to be here anymore. And so I had to deal with that. And like my whole thing and why there was conflict between Will and I is like, I always could sense that he was 1 foot in, 1 foot
One
out.
foot.
So I could never feel secure in the
Yeah.
relationship until later on I did. And
Okay.
so we had to navigate that. But then I got to a point where it's like we both had like a come to Jesus moment of like,
Hmm.
okay, you didn't leave. You still want to be here. And he's like, I still want to be here. Obviously, I didn't leave. Like, I still like you. I want to, figure out what's here between us. And we kind of just like dropped
Okay.
everything. We
Hmm.
dropped all the walls. We stopped pretending to like, not pretending, but we stopped trying to shield one another,
Protect.
or at
Hmm.
least I thought like we stopped shielding one another. And we were just like, hey, if I have something to say, I'm just going to say it.
Hmm.
And he said he would do the same. For Will, it's a lot harder for him to do that than it is for me. And I started to like see a little bit more of him. He shared a little bit more about like his family, his upbringing, where I started to understand him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, in the moments that we spent outside of filming, where it's literally just us two late at night on the couch watching our favorite shows and like talking to one another. Like
Yeah.
those are the moments where I really got to see him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I started to like him again. And then obviously it was easier for me to fall in love with him because that was happening more on a consistent basis. And he was being the thing about Will is he is very attentive actually. Like he was
Hmm.
being more comforting and like listening to me and doing his best to reassure me.
Yeah.
So
As
it
best
was
as he could.
easy. It's just,
And I think there's been a lot of questions where people are like, he never liked her from the beginning.
mm,
Again, I'm on the wrong side. I'm like, I think he did to the best of his ability, but because they're not compatible, it's just wires crossed. But you who experienced it, hindsight and all of the experiences that you had, do you think he liked you?
I definitely think he liked me. I know
Okay.
for a fact he liked me.
Okay. Okay.
I know Will liked me. I just, even when I'm going back and I'm like saying like, oh, it's rejection, like even at
Mhm.
the retreat where I'm like, I don't think I'm his person. Like, I think I even told Megan, I'm like, I don't think he likes me. Of course, that was just me and my feelings.
Yeah.
Um, it takes really knowing Will to like, for me to sit here and be like so confident and saying like he 100% liked me when he told me that he loved me, and he was in love with me. I 100% believe that.
Were you shocked? Because I gasped.
Well, so the
'Cause
thing is, he told me that before.
oh,
He
okay.
told
Because
me, and he told me in the most, it was weird. We had just come from Chad and Belinda's apartment, actually.
yeah.
So we were just like shooting the shit with Chad and Belinda. And I was confiding in Belinda, and Belinda always could see things that I couldn't. She would
Mm,
always tell me, Brittany, this man loves you.
yes.
Even before I even thought there was like a possibility of that in my brain. She's like, Brittany, he loves you. And then I said, well, Belinda, like that night, I'm like, why would you say that? Like, what makes you think that? And she says, just the way that he looks at you when he's
Mhm.
talking about you, because he was talking to Chad about something, and Will was like saying, I can't imagine not being with her. Like, I can't imagine like not being around
Mhm.
her. And he's looking at me and he's like saying all these things. And so Belinda was like, I could always see it. Like, sure, his communication is not the best. And like sometimes it's hard to understand Will, but she was always like, he loves you. And so that night we get back to our place, and we're just sleep, like we're, in bed and we're sleeping. And then he was holding me because he
Mhm.
would hold me every night. And
Mhm.
then he just said, I love you. I had already said it before, like
Okay.
he didn't, I'd already said it before. And he's like, I love you. And I'm like, okay, well, like you're a little intoxicated, like go to sleep. And then we went to sleep, and then there was something like he woke up in the middle of the night and he like wakes me up and he's like, no, I really love you. And then I
Aw.
said, oh, okay, well, I love you too. And we just like go back to sleep. So
Aw.
he had said it before the boat.
Okay.
So that was not the first time that he said it.
Okay. I'll take it the second time because I was so when he said it, I think you said it and I was like, "Wait, she's brave enough to say it to him. He might not say it back and she might be mad." But then he said it and then I gasped and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so great. This is so good."
Yeah.
But how did you guys turn things around from the honeymoon when you said, "Let's not do that again"? How did things go back to doing it again?
Yeah. So by the end of the honeymoon, we had actually like did it. We did it again.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not like it took a while.
okay.
Um, I don't know. I just think Will could not resist me.
Okay. Talk your
He
shit.
always let him tell it. He'll always say like, he's like, anytime he's like, Brittany, you know what you do to me whenever you like
Yeah.
look at me in my eyes and you start to flutter your eyelashes. And I'm like, so of course I'm like being all flirty, and I'm like I knew that wasn't going to be the end of that.
And you still were mad at him.
Well, because I didn't know it in that moment.
Okay, in
I
that
know
moment.
it after the fact.
I say Will has two moves when he looks at you so intently and he's saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't do that. When he's saying things to you. And the second thing I call it the pull. Whenever he's with you, he pulls you always close to
Yeah,
him just to touch and all
always.
that. okay. Um, this is an off question. It's like when you film a show like this and you go back to work, how do you interact with your coworkers? You get on the team call. Like, do people ask you questions? Do they say, "How is that?" Like, how does that work?
Like now that
Yeah,
it's
like
out, you've seen
yeah.
it.
Now that it's out and people have seen you, like, are there any coworkers that are like, and then you're revealing intimate things about your life, and they know that, and they just watch like the honeymoon fight. Like, how do you does that come up at all or
Well, luckily
anything?
for my team, you know, when we found out the premiere date, I let my manager know because I had actually started a new position with a new
Okay,
company back like beginning of September.
okay,
So I kind of just let her know, I'm like, hey, like I did this thing. If I have to go through, because it's a really big company, so if I have to go through any sort of like social media training, or if I have to contact legal just to like let them know what I did this show, which I did have to do all of that, so that was
yeah.
fine. But I just kind of let my manager know, I'm like, hey, I did this thing, and she was like, are you kidding me? Like that is so cool. She's like,
Aw,
so you're actually looking at TV? I said, yeah, like on Peacock. Yeah. She's like, that's so cool. So my team members are all fine with that.
yeah.
They would actually, so the day after the episodes would premiere on Thursdays,
Mm-hmm.
they'd set up a call with me on Fridays just to like check in. Hey, Brittany, how are you doing? Like,
Aw.
we just want to check in, make sure you're doing okay. I've had former coworkers reach out to me and, just, hey, I saw you on TV. I'm like, I just was like on Peacock and I kind of saw you. And I said, yeah, that was me. Like,
It's me.
And then I just go back to work because I'm a corporate girly. So I just do my thing. I go back to work.
Okay. Okay, so decision day. When you get the phone call, were you expecting it? Were you blindsided?
I was completely blindsided.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
And the reason why is because like when things toward the end started getting really good for us, it was really good. Like
Mm-hmm.
at one point we had no conflict, or like if we did have conflict, like little spats here and there, we could easily like reconcile it and come back together.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting about decision day is like we had dinner the night before, literally the night before, at my favorite restaurant. Dinner was great. And then I think maybe a day or so before, Will and I are like together, we're doing something. And then he looks at me, he's like, I don't want there to be any surprises. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like decision day. I don't want there to be any surprises. I'm like, of course there's not going to be surprises. Like we already know we're saying yes. He's like, yeah, decision day is just another, he said, decision day is just another day for us.
Mm-hmm.
And because at that point we were already like planning, like, okay, you're going to move into my place and yada, yada, yada. So when he called me that morning at 6:26 a.m. as I'm getting my makeup done, I was shocked. I was just like, I was so shocked. I didn't have any sort of inkling or any idea that was going to happen. So, you guys see me getting up from the chair and like taking the call, and I go to our room, and then I sat in the closet because I didn't want like the cameras to pick up anything. And I said, Will, like, of course I'm crying because I'm just, upset. But I'm like, Will, like we had just talked about this. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And then he kept going on. He's like, well, what if we don't work out? And like, they want us to move in together. And like, I'm going to move into your place and I won't have my place anymore. And like, what if things don't work out? Then where am I? And I said, you're basing your decision off of fear right now. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I've just thought about it. And like, I'm scared. He kept saying like, and things weren't always perfect with us. And like, I just wish we had more time. And then I said, I just need you to be sure. If you're going to say no, I just need you to be sure.
Yeah.
And I, I was still getting ready, and I'd even told the producers, I said, this is stupid. I'm getting ready to go and get divorced. Like, there's no point in me going because I know Will's not going to change his mind. Will's a very stubborn person, and like, he's not going to change his mind. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to change his mind at that point. So we get there. And what's interesting is like, for decision day, you see it like, you see him come out and then you see me come out and then you see me instantly just like start going into, I love you and blah, 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 all these things. As if I'm like begging him. Well, what's annoying is I had planned to go in and say nothing. Actually, I didn't want to say anything because I knew there was no changing his mind. Okay. I'm like, at this point, like decision day is just a formality. We have to be here. There's no point. I'm going to cry and like be all emotional because I don't want this to end, but like, I'm not going to fight for this. Because I knew for a fact that there was no changing his mind. Okay. And so, of course, the experts are saying, well, Brittany, I know there are like things that you probably want to say or that you should say, like, just really like help him understand how you're feeling and where you're coming from. So then that's where it gets to me, like explaining to him, I never tried to invalidate your feelings. I love you. And if I never, shows you that like I care about your feelings, I'm so sorry for all of that. And then it, cuts to him like, what they don't show also is like, he kept saying, I just wish we had more time. I wish we had more time. And he kept saying that on the couch. And so Pastor Cal was like, you do realize that like you saying yes gives you more time. Yeah. And I told him, I said, well, I'm like, while we're like on the couch at decision day, like cashing it out, I'm like, you saying no, like that's it. That's the end. But you saying yes gives us more time. We'd sit there, we sat there and we talked about therapy. And, we thought that going to couples therapy was going to help. And we were both going to work on the things that we had already talked about, that said that we were going to work on. And so, when he does get up to go and like walk away, it was about 20 minutes. I'm like sitting on the couch. And I even told Kia, I said, this is pointless. He's not going to change his mind. I looked at her and I said, this is pointless. He's not going to change his mind. So like 20 minutes later, 20 minutes later, and he comes back and he's like, the reason he said yes is, obviously to give us more time, and he wants to work on the things that we had literally just sat there and talked about that we were going to work on. And so what's also interesting that they don't show is that they have to, ask the question, okay, so after we'd already hashed it out, and our decision day was long as crap. Like we
Wow.
were on that couch forever. And so, Pastor Cowell, I think it was Pastor Cowell, says, okay, so like now comes the time. Do you want to stay married or get a divorce? So they asked me first,
Yeah.
and I hesitate. I actually sit there and I hesitate because I'm like, I don't want to say yes. And like, it's not going to happen. So I actually wrestled in my mind with saying no and just letting it be that. But of course I said yes. And then he said yes. And we walk off together. Cause it's funny, like at the end, like if you ever watch like the seasons of MAFS and like at decision day and the couple say yes. So they get all excited and then they give them the champagne and they toast. And they didn't do that for us. They were basically like, oh child, that was a lot. I just need y'all to go and like figure. They didn't do any of the champagne celebration for us. And I'm like, I get it. And we're walking off and I looked at him and I said, you were really going to say no? And he said, I had to. And then I say, were you secure in your no? And then he says, no. And then I said, are you secure in your yes? And then he said, yes. And I said, that's all I need.
Okay.
And that was our decision day. And then he had to leave like a couple hours later because he had to fly away for work.
Okay. Because I was like, he called you to say he was going to say no. Nothing. I'll be stubborn too. I'm saying no. I'm not going to say yes to that. But then I think you also said, that he's your person at that day. But did you have an inkling, like at that moment, did you feel this is not going to work, or were you still hopeful that this was going to work?
In my mind, I didn't think anything I said was going to change his mind. I was 100% like, I'm not going to change his mind.
Yeah.
So whatever I say is really just for the benefit of me just getting things out and saying what I feel like I need to say, which when I first arrived, I'm like, I'm not going to say shit. I don't want to say anything. But of course, like the experts are like, well, Brittany, like, I know there's things that you probably want to say to him. And like you had, because actually the night before I rewrote my wedding vows because I knew this was going to be a yes. I'm like, oh, this would be like a cute romantic moment if I just read my wedding vows to him that I like rewrote.
Yeah.
I don't know what cute gesture he's going to do for me, but like, this is what I'm going to do for him.
Yeah.
So they're like, why don't you, you told us that you rewrote your wedding vows. Like, why don't you read those? So I had to read that. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. Like, I'm like, this guy's not going to say no. I mean, this guy's not going to change his mind. He's going to say no. But at that moment and why I felt comfortable saying yes, like before all that happened, it's like, yeah, I did feel like Will was my person. Like we had talked about the future. We had talked about, we had even wrestled with the idea of like, okay, we're going to, like rent my house out eventually and like just go move to a different state, move somewhere else together. So I'm like, we're locked in. Like I had no inkling of like, this was not going to happen.
Yeah. So in terms of, how do I phrase this? So I got a lot of questions that were asked about when you talk about your decision day with the producers. Do they encourage you like, hey, just say yes? And then afterwards, you see how that works? Or are they like, whatever your heart tells you, you can go ahead, and do that on decision day? Do you discuss your thoughts before you get to the experts, I guess, with them?
No, not at all.
Okay.
We did have a meeting with the experts before. So like we arrived to the location and I'm a hysterical mess. I'm like, I didn't eat that entire day. I'm crying the whole day. I'm like, just get me out of here.
Yeah.
But we did go sit down with the experts. And of course I'm a mess. And I told them, I said like, Will's going to say no. And then of course, like Will told them that he was going to say no. And then we like go separately away to do whatever, and then we come back together, or then we come together like, for what you guys see, sitting on the couch together. No way did the producers influence, like there's the producers, like the thing is like they were just there to film.
Yeah.
Like they were the crew was just there to film. Like they didn't shape anything that I was going to say or like anything that he was going to say. There was no influence of like, okay, Will's gonna say no, so like let's try to get him to change his mind and say yes.
Yeah.
But when he stood up and like went and walked away, he was literally like going on a walk and really thinking about what he was gonna say. I think he did actually talk to someone though. I don't recall who he had talked to, but just like, I don't know, probably sorting out his feelings or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, there was no like producer influence or even the expert influence. I know that they were really trying to, like, I don't think they were influencing the decision, but they were like, you guys are like leaving a lot here on the table. Like, they were pretty shocked as well. I remember Dr. Pepper saying something that I thought was really profound. She said, you guys, she was like, I'm just disappointed. She said, never have I had to fight so hard for a couple to like stay together. Like, she said something like that. She was like, I see that you guys could work. The frustrating thing is like you guys aren't seeing it and yada yada yada. And I'm sitting there and like crying, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is not like, this is going in one ear and out the other for Will. I was like, he's not listening to you.
Did you find the experts helpful through the course of the experiment?
I think so. Yeah, they were definitely helpful. There was also what was not filmed is like, because Will and I had like, we were just having conflict, and so I said, well, can we just call Pastor Cal? And he obliged. Like, we called him, and it wasn't even filmed. We called him, and he was just giving us advice, and like his wife was also in the car, so she was giving us advice as well. And it was like they were accessible. If we needed to like reach out to them and just have conversations or like to get advice from them.
So can I ask a question? When you wanted to talk to an expert, is there a reason you preferred Pastor Cal to maybe like Dr. Pia or Dr. Pepper?
I felt like I don't know. I felt like Pastor Cal just like liked me from the beginning. Like, he had my back, and he was really like, we're going to find someone for her. When, during the whole interview process and I got to meet with all the experts one-on-one, I just felt like really connected with him.
Yeah.
And so I said, if anyone is going to help us through this, it's probably going to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more so just like, I don't know. I kind of felt like he was rooting for, I don't know what his relationship was with Will. Like, obviously I didn't see the before things with, like, when Will met the experts, but I really felt like Pastor Cal was rooting for me. And so that's why I wanted to chat with him. Because I'm like, if I can be real and raw and vulnerable with anyone right now, it's probably going to be him.
Okay. Did you guys meet with Dr. Pepper at all during the season?
No.
Okay.
No, not besides, we saw her, like, she came to the Bachelorette.
Oh.
Yeah.
We didn't
Dr.
see that.
Pia and Dr. Pepper came to the Bachelorette just to like give us some advice. And then, no, I didn't see her. I didn't see her again until decision day.
Okay. Wow. I know. I saw some people say, well, people are looking at Dr. Pepper like they've seen her or they know who she is. Like, I'm sure they do. But yeah.
I'm like, oh, hi.
Before I go into the reunion, I just quickly want to touch on pickleball gate. Was there a lot behind the scenes that we didn't know? Or was it just a bad day for you? Or was it just you had reached your peak and like and I'll go specific, like just the questions. It felt like you were trying to get him. You must find something irritating. You must say something. You must do something. Was all those questions, were they all yours? Nothing. Walk us through that, I guess, is the best.
It was a bad day for me. Yeah, it was. I think something irritated me earlier.
Yeah.
And I don't recall what it was.
Yeah.
So then we get to pickleball, and I was fine. Like, I was in a good mood. Will and I, we were cool. Derek was like, hey, let's make a bet. Let's make a wager. Like, if me and Megan win, you guys have to do this. If you guys win, then we have to do this. And I'm like, oh, that's so fun. Like, we're out here being competitive. We're just shooting the shit, having fun. None of us have ever played pickleball before besides Derek. And I'm like, this is going to be fun. And Will's attitude was like, why would you make a wager? Like, we've never played before. We're not good at this. Obviously, we're going to lose. And like, he just wasn't into it. And I'm over here just like shooting the thing and like having fun. I'm like, dude, this is fun. Like, if we look ridiculous out here, who cares? Have fun. And he just was not having fun. So I was like, that irritated me.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I found annoying is like, so, I think, I don't recall who asked the question or how it got started, but Will had said something to Megan. And I was just like, oh, like, you don't say anything like that to me, like in the back of my mind. And so I think they were answering their question. And then I don't even remember how it got started or whatever I had
Yeah.
asked him. But I'm like, what?
Nothing bothers you. Like,
Yeah,
doesn't
what
anything
bothers?
bother
Thank
you?
you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember the question. I'm like, what bothers you? Like, I just want to know. It's like, I don't know. Maybe that definitely was not even maybe that was not the time and place, but I was already just irritated by like his attitude.
Yeah.
Freaking pickleball, and of course we lost. And I think the bet was like we'd have to go and like chug 2 cans of beer. And Will was like, I'm not doing that. I didn't want to make the wager in the first place. And I'm like, bro, it's fun. Like, shut up and just drink the beer, like whatever. And so I was like, that was just irritating. That was annoying. So, and then of course I'm like, yeah, what bothers you? Like nothing, like being petty almost, like nothing bothers you. I'm like, oh, I must be perfect. Like I was definitely being petty when I said that. I know.
Okay.
We all and then he like couldn't give me anything, of course, because like he never did. And then he had said something, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that bothered you. Like you could have just talked to me. My whole problem with Will is like, I just wanted him to talk to me. Just like if something is up, talk to me. Because if something's up with me, like I'm gonna come talk to you about it. So like do the same. But yeah, I watched that. When I had to watch it back, I was just like, because I know it was bad. I know I was petty. I was annoying, and like he had every right to be annoyed. And I'm like, but I think I was also that whole retreat was emotional for me because I was at a crossroad of like, what I'm doing is not working. Like, it's not resonating with him. And I'm always of the mindset of like, if you're with someone and because I kept telling him like, I want to be your safe space. If I'm of the mindset, like if you're with someone, they should feel comfortable enough talking to you about things. Like you've created this space where they know that they feel safe with you and like they know that they can come to you. They may not be able to talk to other people in the outside world, but like you guys have a special bond. And I didn't feel any of that. Like I didn't feel like we were there. And what was frustrating is like I knew he was capable of it because he would go and have conversations about like with other people.
Oh yeah, you said that with Chad. I think you said
And he would talk, open up to them and be vulnerable with them, but like he couldn't do, and like that was frustrating for me until I got to the point where I'm like, well, the reason he's not doing that with me is because I'm just not his person. And I'm like, just tell me that. I'm a big girl, I can handle it, but like I'm not your person. Never once did I say he's not my person. I was just like, I'm not your person, clearly. And like I was at a crossroads at the retreat, and I was just really emotional. And like what got me at the retreat is like other people could see why I was frustrated, and like he just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everyone else sees this and they understand like what's going on, but like you for some reason just can't. And I was like, I'm over it.
It's such a sliding doors thing because I keep wondering, like, what if you weren't emotional and you weren't sharing with him? Is that what kind of pushed him away because he didn't know how to deal with that? But also, what if he was comforting and then he didn't have to put you in a situation where you were emotional because you have no idea, what's going through his mind or what's going on, but then he comes right back again to not being compatible because
I
who
always
knows what
know,
the
and I
answer
always
is.
said it's like, like people ask the question, well, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? It's like that was just our situation. Like what came first? Is like, is it me being overly emotional that kind of pushed him away, or is it like I don't know. It was like we're just in this weird circle. But and I do want to note that like once we started to get it, like we really started to understand each other towards the end, which is why like the decision day conversation about like, oh, it's just another day for us. Like we know we're going to continue this. Like we've built this relationship where the beginning was crap and we're understanding each other, but we've gotten to a point where we really understand each other. We're locked in. It's like And even now, like to this day, I know Will. Like I know, I feel like I know him, or at
Yeah.
least I knew him. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
know. People change in a year and a half. He doesn't know this version of me.
Yes.
But it's like I get it. Like I understand him. That doesn't make anything better,
Better. Yeah.
or but it's like I understand him. Like,
Yeah.
which again, now I know for a fact we wouldn't have worked out. Is because like now I understand you. We just are incompatible. That's okay.
That's true. Bringing it to the reunion, Brittany, you looked stunning,
Ah, thank you.
stunning.
Thank
And
you.
I want to know if a little bit was like, I am going to show this man what he is missing this revenge, because last season we had Michelle do the same thing. She came in gold too, and a listener had a question, and she said, "Tell Brittany to drop her workout routine."
Oh,
Because
I love it.
so, was there a little bit of that going on at the reunion? Like, I am coming in at my hottest.
That's so funny because a lot of people have asked me that. They're like, "Oh, this is like your revenge look," or like, you're gonna make him, he's gonna miss you or whatever. That was not my thought process whatsoever. That did not cross my mind at all. I
Yeah,
had thought about Will since we broke up a really,
yeah,
really, really long time ago. It was more so of like I've done a lot of work on myself,
yeah.
mentally and emotionally and physically. I'd lost 30 pounds since the
Mm-hmm,
filming of the show,
mm-hmm,
and I wanted to show that off. I wanted to show my body. I kept telling
mm-hmm.
Megan, I was like, if there is a way for me to go to this reunion with as little clothes as possible, like I'm gonna try, because I want to show off like my hard work, like
Yeah,
my body. And she's like, Brittany, you can't go naked. I'm like, I know I can't go naked, but like,
was
I'm gonna
close to
show.
that.
I'm gonna. We gonna be damn near. So yeah, I mean, like since filming, I'd really gotten into my fitness. Like I'd worked out before, and I
Yeah.
said I worked out 6 to 7 times a week, which I really did.
Mm-hmm.
Contrary to what people believe, but like, yeah, I worked out a lot, but like, I really kicked it into gear over this past year specifically.
Okay.
I competed in High Rocks earlier this year, which is like a
Mm-hmm.
crazy fitness competition.
Yeah.
I really just like doubled down on my working out. I work out twice a day. Like I do two a
Okay.
days
2 days.
sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
like most of the time. I doubled down on like just eating better, and like I wanted to just show like I wanted to show up to a reunion. Plus, it's the fact that it's a reunion. Like,
Yeah.
who shows up to a reunion not looking their best is my first question. So
I
I'm
have
like,
names, but I won't say
I'm
them.
like, well, because I'm like, it's a reunion. I'm about to show up, show out, like
Yeah.
show who I am today. And like that was my thought process behind
Yeah.
it. It
Okay.
literally like Will did not cross my mind whatsoever.
Okay. Another question that I got a lot. What was in the letter? What did you write in the letter? And this man did not even read it. Okay. Well, yes. What was in the letter?
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me like, "Are you upset he didn't read it?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't be upset about what someone does or doesn't do. I'm like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. It doesn't change anything. I think the letter was more so like my last ditch effort to fight for our marriage. I love that man. Like I really did. Like, and
Oh.
the crazy thing is like I know he loved me, and like that's what I
Okay.
was fighting for. And I think the breakup was just really hard for me. And I'm like, I'm gonna write a letter. And the reason I chose to write the letter is because he had told me once before that like he appreciates things like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys got to see on the show, but like I used to write little notes on our
I
refrigerator
saw
whenever he
it.
would come back,
Yes.
and he
Mm-hmm.
likes that stuff, right? It's the
Okay.
small things. And so I'm like, I'm gonna write a letter and maybe appeal to his romantic side. And I think the letter was more so of like, actually I do remember. The letter was like, I see you, I understand you, like I know who you are. We love each other. Like, let's, I don't think this is the end. Like, let's just give it another try. I don't want you to give up.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. That sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And
Okay.
he didn't read it, so it's okay.
Okay. I think I'm still turning things in my mind in that I also felt like he loved you. But then again, when I got out of my Delulu, it was more of like you were crying all the time.
I was
So
crying out
was it
because
really love
exhausting
if
for
he?
me.
he was making you sad. And it's like, is that love? Like, again, we don't want struggle love. We don't want that on there. So what was the love that he had? Was it the agape love, the failure? I'm just kidding. But but
Oh,
but
I
was
hate that
it
so much.
but was it the love that you deserve? Because yes, you can have love and he could love you, but it wasn't the kind of, you have to love people the way they wanted to be loved, and he wasn't, doing that. So, anyways, my favorite moment at the reunion was when Kevin said, "Do you have anything to say to him?" And you said no. I started clapping because I'm like, that's it. We have nothing else to say, because at that point it was like, I think I said that today on Instagram. I was like, this episode was who the fuck did I marry? What was going on with this man? I know Will, and it made sense in his brain. I don't know Will, but I feel like I know him, where it's like, I have to be cold. I have to just cut it out. And he kept saying, they
Yeah.
said I'm giving hope. Who is they? Do you know who they is?
I don't know who they is. I think so. Actually, he had told me. When did he tell me this? No, he told me this obviously like during the course of filming, that that's how he had to break up with an ex. He had to be really cold and unfeeling
Mm.
because he didn't want to give that ex hope.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I think I like, probably knowing me, I like made a joke and I'm like, yo, don't do that shit to me. Like, don't be cold to me, because I'm not going to appreciate that.
Yeah.
And he did it. And that threw me for a loop, because that day that he came home and, he broke up with me, I knew he was going to do it.
Okay.
I was preparing myself for it, because he had said something in a text, like we were texting earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew I had pissed him off. And then he texted me back and he said, well, I'm going to make sure this never happens again. That was all I needed. I knew he was going to break up with me. So I was actually preparing myself. I had called Megan. I said, Will's going to come home. He's going to break up with me. Like, and then I was like, but I'm okay with that, because like this relationship isn't working. I remember telling her, I was like, I want someone that's gonna, love me the way that I want to be loved. And this just isn't working. So I was prepared for that. And I was
Mm-hmm.
prepared to have a conversation about like, we gave it our best, we gave it our best shot. It just didn't work out. I want you to go off and find the person that is going to make you happy, and like vice versa. I was
Yeah.
prepared for that conversation. He gets home, he has a suitcase, and then he sits down on the couch, and then he looks at me and he says, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be married to you anymore. And I'm like, fuck. And then I think you guys see it on like the
Yeah.
little
The
camera.
camera.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well, are we going to talk about it? Like, I thought we were going to have a conversation. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
so he gets up and he walks to the closet, and I follow him. And then he says all the things that he knew would hurt me in that moment. He said every single thing that he could think of that he knew would hurt me. He said it. And that's why when he like walks back out, and I'm like, well, why are you doing this? Like, why are you talking to me like this? Like being so cold, blah, 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 blah. And then what they don't show, which is interesting, is because that same, like he's breaking up with me and I'm like following him out the door or whatever. And then unfortunately, like what they showed on the show, Rhonda's stepfather had passed away.
Yeah.
So we had plans to go to not the funeral the next day, but I think like the memorial.
Okay.
And so as he's like saying, Will is like standing there saying all these things to me, like, don't, get your hands off me. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, and he said, I don't care about you anymore. That's what he said, because he knew that would throw me. He's like, I don't care about you anymore. And then he turns to leave, and then he goes, so just let me know what time you want to be ready tomorrow, and I'll come pick you up for the memorial. I swear to God. I said, what?
What?
I said, well, you just broke up with me. And what? I was really confused.
That would be very confusing. But in the moment where you were saying, let's talk and come back, what if in a 0.001% he's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to come back and let's talk about it. Would you have taken him back and fought for it even after he did all that and was cruel and got his suitcases, do you think?
Honestly, me at that time probably would have. Like, we
Okay.
would have talked about it, and it would have been like a long conversation. Because I put my foot down with him before, right? When he tried to like divorce me or whatever.
Yeah, earlier.
And he didn't come home, and I said, don't ever do that again. Like, don't ever I don't care what you're doing, how mad you are. Like, a husband's supposed to come home to his wife every night. Like, don't ever disrespect me again.
Yeah.
But in that moment, like, to answer your question, and just like the way that I was feeling at that time, if he came back and said, I'm so sorry, like I shouldn't have talked to you like this, I would have probably taken him back at that time.
Okay.
Than me today, hell
Never. Good.
Me today, we wouldn't even gotten that far.
Well, old you, how many times did you go to Will's apartment that the concierge said they saw you walking back and forth?
Which is ridiculous. Yeah, I went to his. So I dropped off the letter at that time, and then I
Yeah.
just recently started going back over there because Jalen moved into his apartment complex,
Sorry, can
and
I ask
so
about that? How did that come about? Did she know he lived there?
she knew. Yeah, but she'd asked me though because
Oh, okay.
Josh, like as you saw in
Yeah.
the reunion, she
Mhm.
needed a place and she needed to
Mhm.
find a place quick.
Mhm.
And Jalen is actually like she's a realtor and she's
Yeah.
lived on the on that side of town before.
Mhm.
And so she actually messaged me and she showed me a video of her like walking through the place.
Yeah.
And she's like, is this going to be okay with you? Like, are you going to feel weird? And I was like, girl, this was like 3 or 4 months ago. I said, girl, I have not thought about Will. Like,
Yeah.
I even told her, I said, I don't even know if he still lives in Austin. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if he moved.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, we didn't think he actually lived here anymore. So I'm like, girl,
Oh.
go, like, if this is what you need and like you need to find a place and like this
Yeah.
works out for you, move in.
Yeah.
And she had a pool party for the 4th of, no, it wasn't 4th of July, for, what's that holiday in September? Like
Labor
Labor
Day.
Day or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She had a pool party. And so we went to the pool party. So that was my first time there,
Mhm.
obviously going to the pool party. And
Mhm.
then Jalen and I are actually like besties. So like we hang out
Yeah.
often. So I go to her place for like girls' night. I go to pick
Mhm.
her up if we're going, gonna go
Yeah.
out on, the east side or whatever. And one day she texts me and she said, "Oh my God, I just ran into Will." And I said, "Oh shit, he's still here?" And she's like, "Yeah, it was awkward. He actually came up to me and he said hi." And I was like, "Oh, okay, good for you." And then she said, she asked him like, "Oh, are you watching the episodes?" And then he was like, "No, I'm gonna wait to watch them with my therapist." And I was like, "Good for
Oh.
him." But up
Oh.
until that point, I didn't know that he was
He was.
still in Austin. I literally had assumed he moved because he had talked about moving away.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, Pat says you guys are working on a friendship. So my last question is the door completely closed for you and Will?
the door is closed for a reconciliation for Will and I, but we are in a great place.
Okay.
I appreciate it. There were some things about the reunion that I just appreciated how he handled. I'm like, we look the best in terms of like the couples. I'm like look the best as in like
Yes.
we didn't
Yeah.
have drama, right? And
Yeah.
so he after that, like he and I, we got back to the hotel or whatever, and we just talked. We spent like 3 hours that night just talking.
Mhm.
And what I appreciated about him is like he asked me, he was like, my tone, oh my gosh, my tone throughout the show, like, did I really talk to you like that? I'm like, yeah, you did. Like, that's what I appreciated,
Mhm.
is the fact that he could watch it back and like, kind of see maybe where I had some struggles. And the same
Yeah.
for me. I apologized to him for a lot of things and we hashed it out. And then he's so crazy. And then at the end, like we had a good night or whatever. And then he's like, I'm gonna unblock you. I said,
Thanks.
I literally said, like, hey, live your life. And I didn't like. I was like, I'm not gonna find out if he unblocked me or not because like I'm not gonna text him. Like, there's no
Yeah.
point. We rehashed it, like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to Pat's point, I guess we're just in a really good place. Like, there's no reconciliation. Like,
Okay.
but I do respect him as a person.
Okay, that's good. You guys were really gracious. I'll say that. You, Maggie, and Jalen. I was like, the Lord is still working on me. But for something fun, since you used to watch the old episodes, I have someone in mind. But if you could be matched by any previous MAFS groom on a different season, who would it be? I
I
know
feel
who
like
I'm
the
gonna match.
person that you have in mind, I'm just gonna say, is it Miles?
No,
No. Okay.
no, it's
Is it
not.
is it Keith?
Yes,
That
it's
was my
Keith.
second. Yeah.
Yes,
Hey
it is
Keith, if
Keith.
you're watching this, call me.
Hi, Keith. She's
Hi
right
Keith.
here.
I liked Keith. I'm like
Yes.
I like the way he carried himself and like I thought he was great. So
Yes, it is. I still don't know why they decided to. There's nothing wrong with being a virgin. Absolutely not. It's just, it's a lot for 8 weeks on a TV show. It's just a lot. So that was my
Especially in
only
that
thing.
kind of environment, because
Yeah.
everything is on hyper speed. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like if they matched me with the version, like I would have been like, it probably would have been doable because I hadn't had. No, it wouldn't have been doable. I'm lying. I was gonna say because I haven't had intercourse in so long. But also, I was married, so I'm like, no, it wouldn't have been doable.
Okay, wait. So if you had to pick between Miles and Keith, who would it be?
Oh, they're both great men, from what I could tell. I
Mm-hmm.
guess. I don't know. I don't actually know them.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I don't know. I don't want to choose. They both seem like great
I'll
guys.
choose for you, Keith. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and I know you like to read. I'm a reader too. What is the last good book that you read?
This is a current book I'm reading right now. It's the second book
Oh,
in
The
the
Housemates.
Housemaid
Yes,
series. It's
yes.
so good. I'm almost done with it. Oh my god, yeah, I'm a psycho avid reader. Like I read every single day. I love reading. The Housemaid series is really good. I also
Hmm.
read a lot of Kennedy Ryan books.
Yeah, I'm reading The Real right now. So.
Yes, Before I Let Go is so
Mhm.
good. Like she is just awesome.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to put a fun question just to
Yeah.
cleanse the palate and all of that. So, last words, any misconceptions that you want to, clear, or just what were your favorite moments of the show? Just any last words of your experience on the show.
Yeah. I don't know if I have misconceptions I want to clear up, right? Like
Yeah.
people are gonna form their own opinions and I
Mhm.
honestly don't care. I know who I am and like, for the ones that were saying like she's just an insecure person,
Yeah.
it's seeing those comments are actually like interesting because I've never in my life been told I'm insecure. I'm actually like sometimes I get told I need to humble myself a little bit, actually. I'm a very confident person. Certain situations can bring out sides of you that you don't necessarily know that you have.
Yeah.
Uh, this experience definitely brought out sides of me that I didn't even know I was capable of.
Mhm.
But to that point, like I am so grateful for my experience. I always say like I didn't get the outcome that I wanted, but I got exactly what I needed.
Mhm.
And the person that I am today is really just truly grateful for that experience. And I got best friends out of this experience. Like Megan is I always say I'm her heart because like I
Oh.
feel like she needs me to
Oh.
breathe. But like it's the
So
same.
sweet.
Like I love her to death. Jalen is also really like a best friend of mine. And so just really thankful for the connections that I made, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. That was really nice. Do you speak to any of the guys at all?
Well, Will and I are in a good place, so but we don't like communicate often. Oh, we're good. Um, no, Josh when he was with Jalen, but not
Mhm.
anymore because he did my girl dirty, and
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the other
Mhm.
guys, no.
Okay. Good. Um, I was surprised that you said you would do maths again if you could, and I would like to know, would you do reality TV again, and if you could, which ones would you do?
I think I would, if the opportunity presented itself. Just because, like, I like being vulnerable and some of the positive messages that I've received of like, really grateful that you were able to show your vulnerability and like
Mhm.
any opportunity that I have to number one showcase God.
Mhm.
Like if I'm given that platform to be able to like talk about my faith,
Mhm.
I want to take it
Mhm.
because first and foremost, it's like the most important thing in my life.
Mhm.
So when I do reality TV again, yeah, like I want to do the challenge. MTV's The Challenge.
I'm
I would,
obsessed with that show.
I would slap. Like I would be so good on that show. I'm actually preparing. Like I don't know if ever I'm gonna get the opportunity to, but the challenge, like call me because I've done high rocks. Like I'm good. I'm ready to go.
Brittany, if you start a petition, just send it my way. I cover the challenge. I'm obsessed. Like, I will tell you what I did just to meet CT, but that's a whole thing.
Tell me because that is
But
my
yes, I'm there
show.
for you. But this is what my hope is for this show coming to Peacock, that I'm hoping that this show gets more recognition and we get to see more MAFS people on other shows because I don't see any crossovers. And I'm like, I was mad that
I
y'all weren't at
know.
BravoCon. Like,
it's like you see all of the Love Island people and like,
yes,
you see all of the, what are the other, I don't even know. Oh, like
they
Love
have
is
Love is
Blind and
Blind. Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
Big Brother and Survivor. I'm like, MAFS is
Yes.
in there. Like
Yes.
we're in the mix. I would also do
Yes.
Perfect Match too. I would do Perfect Match.
Oh, that is so doable. You're getting me excited. That is, although that's where all the fuckboys go, but I mean, AD found her
AD
person
found
there.
her
That
guy.
was an anomaly because, but yeah,
What, I'm a hopeless romantic and I'm glass half full. So I'm like, if it happened for one person, it can
it
happen for
happened.
me.
Hey, so that's it. But this was so much fun. Thank you so much, Brittany. Can you share with people where they can find you if you want to be found or anything you want to share
Don't
with
come
people?
looking for me in person. Like, no, I'm just kidding. You can find me on Instagram. So my Instagram is OMGBMO. Yeah, that's it. I don't
That's
have
it.
anything else. Like I don't have like the TikTok and the like that's just way too much.
Yeah.
But I'm on Instagram like faithfully.
Okay. Well, yeah, you heard it, guys. You can find her there. Thank you for listening, guys. You know where to find me everywhere on the socials. It's also called MAFS. Please give me a 5-star rating anywhere you listen to your podcast and stay subscribed so you don't miss out on any new episodes. Until next time, guys. Bye.
If you're a podcast host, listen up. This one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle. And I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.